Now that the Batman has officially released in theaters, everybody is talking about what's going to happen in the sequel. Of course, director Matt Reeves has confirmed that there is development on a sequel already, but what's going to happen in the sequel? Now, before we get too far into this, I do want to note that I have not seen the movie yet, so first of all, I don't know what happened in it, and also, don't spoil it for me. Please, no spoilers in the comments below. But we do have some ideas that have gone around about what could possibly go on in this sequel, specifically when it comes to the villains, because that's one of the things I always look forward to the most is the villains, because I love Batman villains. There's so many crazy characters and so many possibilities. And I've heard a lot about a lot of characters being set up, or at least teased and referenced in this movie. So there's a lot of things that they could do in this sequel. You know, Matt Reeves has previously talked about Mr. Freeze. Robert Pattinson has mentioned the Court of Owls and Clayface, and those are all great options. But now today, Matt Reeves did another interview where he was asked if he could use any Batman villain in a future Batman movie, what would that be? And he said Hush. He would love to do the storyline of Batman Hush. And I would honestly love that as well. I think Hush would be a great character and really a perfect fit for this franchise, because I remember actually back when we got the first trailer for this movie, a lot of people were actually thinking that Hush was the main villain of this film, thinking that, oh, that's not the Riddler in the trailers, that is actually Hush, just given to kind of explain how Riddler has such a different look than he does in the comics. But no, that is the Riddler. And as far as I'm aware, Hush is not in this movie. But there is a way that they could go with this storyline, and honestly, it would work really, really well. Like, just the storyline of Hush works really well in this world, because first of all, it would be a cool mystery detective storyline, which just like they were doing with this first Batman movie, when is one of the things that people are loving the most about it. So having Hush as a villain would be great. Also, it would lead to more of that personal story connected to Batman and Bruce Wayne himself, so that would make for some great character study dynamics and everything going on there, so that would be awesome. And also, this is something that I also feel that they could almost build up to. This could be possibly even like the big finale, because you know, Matt Reeves, in this interview, when he mentioned Hush, he said, by no means take this as a confirmation that he's going to be in the next one. Well, what if he's in the third one? What if he is the villain of this third movie and he's like the big bad final villain of the Batman trilogy? I think that would be really cool to do, because this is a storyline you can build up to. Possibly introduce the character of Tommy Elliott before that third movie. I don't know if they do that, but the big thing I'm talking about there is that in the Batman Hush storyline, Hush hires a lot of Batman villains. So you could take all these Batman villains that appear in the Batman and the Batman 2 and all these other spin-offs. Like you could, again, I haven't seen the movie, so I don't know whether these characters survive or die or whatever, but you could bring back characters like the Riddler and the Penguin and Catwoman, and if they do introduce Mr. Freeze or like the Joker or possibly a Scarecrow or Clayface, and they can bring back all of these villains and just have like all these crazy Batman villains in the Batman Hush, and then have Hush as like the big mastermind of this plan. That would just be so cool to see. That would honestly be so awesome and something super unique, because we've never seen that before in a live action Batman movie, because first of all, usually the villains die in their first movie debut, which is really unfortunate. But also, just, you know, they just never come back either, unless you count like Cillian Murphy's Scarecrow from the Dark Knight trilogy, who I believe was in all three of those movies. And I love that. I love that connectivity, because that's one of the cool things about villains in the comics, is that they always keep coming back, because, you know, Batman or Spider-Man, whoever is fighting these villains, they always just toss them in jail, and then somehow they always escape and they go off to cause more chaos and mischief. So this would be something really cool to see, the return of all these Batman villains in this third movie, and again, have Hush be the one masterminding this whole big crazy plan the whole time. So I honestly would really, really love for this to be the case. I would love to see Batman Hush and see that storyline done in live action. I think that would be just so cool to see. But anyways, guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments below, again, without spoilers for the Batman. What do you think about the idea of seeing Hush as a villain in a future The Batman Matt Reeves movie? But anyways, guys, thanks so much for watching. Please drop a like if you enjoyed this video and hit the subscribe button so I can keep up to date on everything that goes on in the DC life.